Okay, so this is going to be a little tutorial on how to use Calendy to set up your parent-teacher conference meetings. Again, a good shout out to Ms. Soriano for introducing me to this. I think it's very helpful. The first thing that's really nice about it is it's free. So we go to login, and with your DOE email, it'll take you into 365, and we all have it. So you don't have to worry about any issues other than using your DOE. It'll probably ask you to send your text, email, whatever it is to confirm it. But as you can see, I already have one set up here. I'm going to briefly show it to you. So let me turn it on just so you can see how it looks. So this is essentially what the parents are going to be given an email to. I will generally introduce it as to what it's going to be. I add a Zoom code that I'll show you how to set up. And again, just in case you're having problems, I give the meeting ID and all this stuff. Looking forward to seeing you. And of course, most important is the dates they can sign up for. So when a parent gets this link and they're coming to this page here, they can click on these and they can choose any times Thursday from 4:30 until 6:55, 7, or Friday from 12:30 until 2:25 or 2:30. And they can simply just find a time they want. They click on it. They go to confirm. I've had it set up that they'll put their name, their email, and I added an option here where I want to know what their child's name are. It will tell them this is your time, this is this, and we hit schedule event. Once this is done, I start getting a list from this website, and it'll show me my calendar set up for those two dates. So let me show you how we walk through this. Well, first things first, I'm going to go over to Zoom, believe it or not, and kind of set up a Zoom meeting for that. So I already have Zoom meetings set up. So I want to schedule a meeting right now. So I'm going to set up one for PTC. So I'm going to call it PTC. So this is the link I'm going to give parents. Now it's going to give you all this when, this, that. So I'm going to say it's a recurring meeting, and it is going to happen with no fixed times. That means I don't have to worry about a date. I can open this thing up anytime. It's going to go on forever. The next thing I try and do is I turn off the require authentication to join, because some parents may not be joining from the students' accounts and they can't get in, and this is a hassle and I can't get through this. So I turn this off and I monitor. I don't let anybody in who is not a parent. If I see a name like boom, boom, hi, you're here for so-and-so, great. That way I can make sure they come in. I don't change any of the rest of the settings, host on, all this stuff, great, and I hit save. So now I will have this, and of course I can copy the invitation. And it'll pop up this whole thing. Sure. So I'm going to keep this here for now. I'll come back to this in a minute so I can copy the meeting invitation. I'm going to put it into my calendar in here in a little bit. So I'm going to come over here to this now, and I'm going to create my own PTC. So first thing I'm going to have to do is turn this one off, because you can only have one active calendar event right now because it's the bare bones version. So I'm going to come over here to new event. I'm going to click on this and say one-to-one. So this is obviously we want these are going to be one-on-one meetings. So great, one person's booking. The event name would say fall PTC, sure, whatever it is. Now the location seems a little confusing. You feel like you're going to say in-person meeting, but we're not really doing that. We're doing Zoom conferences. But I can see in the future that I would love to do this to set up parent-teacher conferences in person. So I have a list of parents signing up before they come here to hopefully minimize the amount of parents just kind of wandering on the hall looking for times and places to be here. So for this one, we're obviously doing Zoom. And now I would have write a summary and any details and invitations you should see. So I put that whole thing. I'm just going to type blah, 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 blah. Cool. Now I put my whole thing, come on Thursday, come on Friday. I want to meet your child. I give you an extra credit if they come, blah, 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 all that wonderful stuff. Now at the end of this is where I'm going to give my information about the link. So from here, I've copied meeting invitation. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to paste that in here. Mike Vanderpunt is joining you to schedule a Zoom meeting. Well, okay, I don't really need to say that because I've just kind of explained that whole thing. So I do a lot of editing. I take this out. Topic, PTC, time. This is a recurring meeting anytime. They don't need to know that, but let's call it PTC. Join Zoom meeting. That's the link they want to click on. Meeting ID, passcode, one time tap Noble, blah, 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 US. Okay, so they can't tap this. There isn't this. So I take this stuff out because I don't need to worry about that, but you could leave this in here if you want to make sure people are dialing in to get this. Find your local number, all this stuff. And again, at the bottom is the same exact meeting code and ID. So essentially, that's the nuts and bolts of what you need. The Zoom link, which by the way, this PWD means the password is already put in here. Because sometimes people do, oh, I don't have the passcode. But the link should take you in because it's kind of ingrained into this linking here. So I'd have this whole thing set up. And I'm good to go. Now, this here is the link it's going to add to it. It's going to be calendy.com, mvanderpunt, fall PTC, and whatever color you want it to be. Sure. That is the first step of this. Now I would come down here and hit next. The second part is now I'm going to start talking about the date range. When can people book this event? How long it's going to be? All these things here. So what I'm going to do first is change this to, instead of 60 calendar days, which means invitees can schedule any day for the next 60 calendar days into the future, which I don't want. I'm going to give them a date range. And if I click in this blank area, it's going to pull up a calendar. And I want to do it from the 17th. And I click again to the 18th. Those are my date range. Those are the dates I have. The duration. We're not doing 30-minute meetings. It is not talking about how long the event is. It's talking about how long each parent-teacher conference, I believe, is going to be. Oops. So I would go down to custom and say the duration is going to be 5 minutes. Now, use an existing schedule or set custom hours. So I'm going to click on set custom hours, and I'm going to look at the month of November here, and I'm going to see the 17th and 18th are kind of highlighted because those are the dates I'm offering. So I'm going to click on it and click on edit dates. And I'm going to come in here, and I know all these look like they're highlighted, but you'll see in a moment they're not. I'm going to go to 4:30 p.m. is my start time, and 7 p.m. is my end time. And I hit apply. And you can see those reflect there. And I'll come over here and I'll do edit dates. And I'll do 12:30 p.m. till 2:30 p.m. And I hit apply. All right. Now I've got those dates set. Okay. I'm going to move down here. Want to add time before or after event? I do not want to do it. Now I'm going to click on additional rules for your availability. So I'm going to twirl that down. I'm going to click on it and it twirls it down. And now I see some other pieces of information. Start time increments. Show available start times in increments of 5 minutes. Now, the scheduling conditions, I used to have this on that they couldn't schedule an appointment within 30 minutes of parent-teacher conference. But what I then learned is if a parent missed their time or forgot to sign up and they still want to meet with me, they weren't able to. So I've actually started eliminating this and saying nothing. Time zone, I leave alone. I don't make a secret event. So the only thing I would really change in here would be to show available time slots in increments of time slots, starting times in 5-minute increments. I hit next. Just took a second there, sorry. And now I can kind of review what event type this is and when can people book the event. So those are the two things I just did. And it now says it is ready to accept invitations. But now I have some additional options. And this is where I will come down here and see name and email, the stuff you really want ahead. But please share anything that will help prepare for a meeting. I'm going to say, instead of that, what is your child's name? Cool. And answer multiple lines or one line. They only need one line. It's a name, so it shouldn't need more than that. Add a new question. What period does your child have my class? Maybe that helps you. You can make these required as well. Obviously, I want them to make sure that it's one line, multiple lines, radio buttons. So radio buttons here, I could say period 1, period 3, period 7. Those are mine, or I could add more if I wanted to. So I'm gonna make sure these are required. And I'll hit apply. And now that I realize I didn't make this, I'll make this required. I hit apply. So now I'd have these set up here. Cool. I hit save and close. So now this looks ready to go. I want to see what it's going to look like. So I can click up here in the top right to view live page. And when I click on this, it's opening a new window up. And this is my thing. Here's my blah, blah, blah. Here's the copy and paste I did for my Zoom link. Now I'm going to click over here and pretend I'm a parent trying to pick a time. Sure, 4:30, confirm. I can see, I can take names, guess, what's your child's name? Little Mikey, of course. And what period do I have them? 3rd period. And then it hits schedule event. Because sometimes we don't know our parents. We don't know the name. Maybe they just put John, and I don't know who John is. So this can help you try and figure out a little bit there. And then when I hit schedule event, let me show you where that would go. Okay, it's not going to appear right now because I don't actually have any events. So I'm going to click back on my home. I'm going to go to scheduled events. I'm going to look at my past. And what you'll see is this. This is the parent-teacher conference we had back in the spring. So what I start getting is this list of parents' names and all this, and I can twirl it down and see the details. And I can see that's their email address. What is your child's name? Khalil, cool. Any other notes or anything like that? If they don't show up, I can click on it at 1:05. I'm looking at the clock. They did not show up. Shoot, they didn't show. That way I know for sure I need to try and reach out to them and make sure I connect to them again. Or they have the ability sometimes to cancel on their own because they said, oh my God, I made it for 1:05. I can't be there at 1:05. So they can cancel it and redo it. But I can also try to schedule them again on my own. If I said, oh, they emailed me and said, can I please do it at 4 p.m.? Sure, let me schedule them in. Again, this is inactive, so I can't really do this one, but you can try and reschedule them for a different time. So you'll start getting these here on the website, but you will also start getting these email confirmations via your DOE email. It'll start emailing you every single time someone's signing up. You get an email sent there. And when you come here, instead of being in the past, it will be upcoming for you and me, because this will be showing us who is starting to sign up for our parent-teacher conference. So I can already know ahead of time who I'm supposed to be meeting with before parent-teacher conferences start. Essentially, that's what it is. I'm going to go back to my home. I'm going to click on mine. I'm going to turn this one off just because I have two. So if you do make more than one in the future, you can keep them fall, spring. You just turn them off and then turn the other one on, because again, you can only have one. And now I know here's my booking page and everything looks fine and it's good to go for that. All right, one more thing I do want to show real quick is if you need to make any changes, you can just simply click on the name of your event and click through here and change anything in here that you wanted to do, or save and close. I can go to when can people book, and I can change things inside here as well. So it's really easy to save and change things. So that is essentially how you set it up.